Shohei Ohtani has surgery. The Dodgers interested in signing Blake Snell, and Ben Casparius, World Series champion, joins the show. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
Dodgers win!
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball.
Grand slam!
It's a double for Freddie. They're going to make big signings. They're going to make impact trades. This is the most anticipated season in Dodgers history.
Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Now, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the #1 Dodgers podcast and show on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button. But without further ado, we got a special guest. We've got a World Series champion. Ben Casparius joins the show today. Ben, thank you so much. How does that sound? World Series champion Ben Casparius.
Sounds pretty good, D-Mac. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, I mean, just what if I told you before the season that not only would you be making your big league debut and showing out and showing those flashes with the spin on the slider, with the fastball life, not only are you establishing yourself with your big league debut, but you're pitching in the World Series against the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium. It doesn't get bigger than that.
No, it doesn't. It was pretty incredible. It was a long, emotional day. We obviously didn't come away with the win, but it was a really special part of my career for sure.
Yeah, I was listening to Kirsch before the game, and he was saying that, like, wow, Benny C, they were calling you Benny C. Benny C gets to start in the World Series at Yankee Stadium. Wow, what a nice way to start your World Series career. Just kind of what went into kind of the decision, the conversations before. Just can you remember kind of what was going through your mind when you knew you were taking the ball in Game 4 of the World Series?
Yeah, so I found out after Game 3 in the clubhouse, pretty briefly, just after the game, was told by Mark Pryor, hey, you're going to start the game tomorrow. Didn't know really what the plan was in terms of innings or pitch count. I know now after everything being over, being available for Game 6 was the plan. So kind of a shorter start for me, but just to get the ball in that situation in Yankee Stadium, close to home for me, in a game where we had a chance to clinch the World Series. It was pretty awesome.
And when you're going out there and you're on the rubber, did you take a second to kind of step back, kind of soak it all in, or you just always just straight up locked in because of, hey, it's baseball, you got to go out there and do a job?
Yeah, I think for me, I think I took it in mostly when I went out for pregame, and then obviously in my pregame bullpen, I was hearing it from the fans, and I think the first time I came out of the dugout for the first inning, I kind of was able to just look around and kind of see, like, this is where we are. This is happening right now. And it was surreal. It was, it's stuff you kind of dream of as a kid, literally, in Game 4 of the World Series. So it was super special. I think for me in general, I have to, kind of minimize things for me to go out there and do my job. So, like, try not to make the moment too big. But for something like that, I mean, it'll be something I talk about for the rest of my life, something that me and my family watch forever. So it was awesome.
Yeah, and the truth is you went out there and you got the job done. You put up a 0 there in that first inning. The next inning, you strike out Rizzo. Just how important was it, though, in that Mets series? Kind of getting your feet wet in the NLCS, making multiple appearances. How big was that, knowing that, hey, I've had experienced postseason baseball?
Yeah, I think those were two really big outings for me in terms of the situation and just being able to get out there in a playoff, setting and kind of, had the opportunity to save some of our leverage arms and help those guys be ready. But I think going into the World Series, I think none of the characteristics or body language by anybody really changed. Like, we had one goal in mind. And I think that was like kind of the major key throughout the entire postseason was just, lay back, be calm, and if we play Dodger baseball, we're going to win this thing, and we were able to get it done.
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest part about this championship run is, look, good teams usually have a really good closer, right? A couple of high leverage arms.
Yeah.
but the bullpen, the moniker, the dogs, you guys have your paws all over this World Series championship, so to speak. Just kind of how much pride do you take in being a part of this group that's going to be remembered forever in Dodgers lore for being those guys that stepped up when you really had 3 starting pitchers to go win this championship?
Yeah, exactly. You kind of stole the words right out of my mouth, but we came into a playoff series, and this was over a span of almost, 5 weeks or whatever it was. We had 3 starting pitchers, with a lot of flexibility in the bullpen between me, Knack, Honeywell, guys that can kind of stretch out and go, 2+ innings. And then obviously Blake being a hero in game 5 and going, 3 ups and getting 9. I think he got 7 or 8 outs. And I don't know if he did that all year or how long it's been since he's done that. So that was just kind of, a testament to who he is, and wanting the ball in a big situation. And obviously, like, we were getting slim with pitching towards the end of that game too, so that was huge by him. And yeah, I think that was like a big part of the vibe, down there was everybody's names were being called. Everybody had trust in one another. The energy never changed. There was no nerves. It was just get out there, do your job, hand the ball to the next guy. And I think we really fed off of kind of just how much importance we felt from, the team, obviously, and, covering innings and games where we didn't have a starter. And then obviously the fans just absolutely loved it and embraced it. And I think that was the extra little jolt we needed and support we needed to feel to, to go out there and go on the heater that we did for as long as we did.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it so cool too. Is you mentioned guys like Blake Treinen, Daniel Hudson. You got older veterans, then you got young guys like you and Brent Honeywell, and then you form this perfect mix that knows their role, and you're essential to this championship run. But I think I love the moment too, how there's such a team. It's not like, oh, the bullpen's over here, the position guys over here, the starters over here. The moment when Max Muncy was hyping up Brent Honeywell, saying, okay, you just won us game 6. I mean, talk about Brent Honeywell and just what he's like and just having him as a teammate, because like you're just in that same category of guys that did everything that you needed to do to help this team win a championship.
Yeah, I mean, Honey's the man. He's one of the best dudes to be around in the clubhouse, and like truthfully will do, whatever it takes to put the team in the best position to win. And he threw valuable and big innings for us and took down a lot of innings when it was needed to set us up for games. And I think that was kind of just the entire, motive throughout the entire series and just navigating the roster and the bullpen. And I think our front office did an unbelievable job. Doc obviously did a great job managing games, and guys, knew their roles and knew when they were going to get called on. And it was really strategic, planned out. And I think at the end of the day, we stepped up and, we did what we needed to do to come out on top.
Yeah, and you were nasty in the clinch in the NLCS. You got those 4 punch outs, and it kind of rolls over to the next start. It gives Dave Roberts the option to go for the kill shot with the extreme high leverage arms, right? And then you guys are still capable of going out there and getting big outs and big strikeouts in big situations. Talk about Dave's role, because I think one of the big takeaways for this entire postseason is if anyone had any doubts about Dave Roberts, well, those are gone. He's gone from a guy where maybe he's the guy you point a finger at because that's the easy thing to do, as you know, when a team loses, to a guy that people are saying is going to be a Hall of Famer. What's the communication like with someone like Dave Roberts, and how much confidence does he give you in these spots to go out there and execute and do your job?
Yeah, I think for him during the postseason, he's obviously swamped with media and putting together a lineup and, crafting the bullpen and the starting pitchers. He's got a lot on his plate, but I think just in general, he's, one of the nicest guys ever. He's hard-nosed, wants to win, but him having confidence in me was pretty much everything that I needed, whether it was we talked for 30 minutes or we didn't talk at all. It was kind of just, hey, you're going out there, go do your thing. It wasn't much said. And I think that's important going forward in my career, just having those guys behind my back, and trusting me in big situations like that.
And how much is it like, look, I'm on this team, so that means I'm on this team for a reason. There's no random Dodgers, right? You guys are all there to do a job. Like, how big is that, knowing that, okay, just being on this team, having that conversation with Dave Roberts lets me know I'm supposed to be here and I'm one of the guys that's going to help this team win?
Yeah, that's what I've talked about a lot with people, is just, during the season, guys might come up and make a spot start and they might debut and, get these opportunities. But when it comes to playoff baseball, I think you're going out there with your best roster, guys that you trust, and just to be a part of that, right? Whether I threw 10 innings or I didn't throw a single inning, just to be a part of it was really special. And to know that, I kind of earned it, and to be there, and they trust my ability to go out there and get outs when when my name was called. That's really important, especially for a young guy who, I just got my feet wet, in August. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then going back to the clincher, we got to talk about that fifth inning. The fifth inning that'll live in infamy. If you're a Yankees fan, if you're a Dodgers fan, it's pure glory there. Just what was the mood like in the bullpen, in the dugout, with you guys just finding a way to scratch and claw your way back? You got the error on Judge, the error on Volpe. Garrett Cole still hasn't covered first base, I think, even right now. But, I mean, what really was the mood like during that comeback, and just how energizing was that?
Yeah, I remember I was sitting inside they had this little room in the bullpen just to like stay warm with a bathroom and everything, a couple TVs. I remember we were sitting in there and Judge drops that ball, and immediately the vibe switched. Like, hey, we felt like we had a little bit of life. I think we were still getting no hit to that point too. So it was kind of like, hey, any way you can get on base, like, let's do it. Let's start something here. And I remember I stood up to go outside just to like walk around, talk to some of the guys and everything. And then all of a sudden, I think Will gets on. Yeah, Will hits that ball in the sixth hole. He gets on base, and I ran right back to my seat inside and was like, okay, here we go. I can't mess with any mojo we've got. And then all of a sudden, baseball's funny, and we score 5 runs that inning, and we're right back in the ball game. And I think from that point on, I don't think there was any chance we lose that game once it was a tie score. And to be honest, I think too, with how many pitchers we were kind of going through in that game, I don't think we were in the best shape for a game 6. Like, I know we were going to have an off day or anything, but the Yankees, they scratched and clawed, and the bats kind of came alive in game 4. They got off to a hot start in game 5. So it was kind of one of those things where, hey, the Yankees are getting their momentum back. Like, their guys in their lineup are doing, what they should be doing on paper. This is kind of that team that, is starting to come alive. And that's kind of a scary thing, on top of them being down 3-0 in a series, playing with absolutely nothing to lose and no expectations at that point. So that's when teams get dangerous. So that game 5, I mean, if we lose that game, it's a really interesting game 6 for sure. Like, we start to feel like we might have our, backs up against the walls. They're still kind of having that fire of winning 2 straight, being down 3-0. So the fact we came on top of that game was just pretty incredible. And, we fought the whole way through.
Yeah, Ben, I love Dodger baseball more than anyone, and I could not be any happier to not see more Dodger baseball. I could not have seen a game 6, especially given the momentum to the Yankees. And Dave Roberts talks about it. When you're down 3-0, you really have nothing to lose at that point. Look at the pitching situation. It's a beautiful thing that you got the job done. And then you get Blake Treinen. Blake Treinen goes in there, 42 pitches. I mean, what can you say about Blake Treinen's performance?
I mean, if there was anybody that was going to do it, it would be him.
Yeah.
And I think he really entrenched himself into legend status as a Dodger. I mean, it was just every single time he went out there, it was when you have a group of big league guys that are in awe of another big league guy, you know that they're special. And I kind of started learning that, like, by watching Shohei and being around the guys when he would do something special, and, Mookie and Freddie, all these guys. And every time Blake took the ball, we knew we were in good hands. And that was just straight up. There was never anything that was going to get in the way of that.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing about watching Blake Treinen is he can walk a guy and give a base hit. Someone can steal a base. He's still focused on the batter, and he's going to get you out of that inning, and he's unfazed by that. Is there something that you can take away from Blake and kind of throw it into your career as just inspiration that you kind of want to implement?
Yeah, I mean, me and him have talked a lot. He kind of, I would say everybody took me under their wing, but he also, he made a really, really conscious effort to, like, help me get acclimated to being in the bullpen. And I think he just has this calm fire to himself where he's prepared. He trusts his ability, he trusts his preparation. I think there was just a way that he went about his business that I'm going to try to implement, honestly, throughout my career going forward, because I don't know if there's anybody that does it better than he does.
Yeah, no, he's next level. Is there a leader of the Dogs, by the way? Is it Blake? Is it Hudson? Is it just everyone's a leader? I mean, is there just a one leader of the Dogs out there in the pen?
No, I think it's a combination of a lot of veterans.
Yeah.
And then you've got younger guys as Alex Vessia, and guys kind of in that role, Bazooka, guys that are a little bit younger that obviously have a lot of big league experience and know what it's like playing for the Dodgers. And I just think it was the best collection of personalities you could bottle up. And then on top of that, we have Josh Bard, who's our bullpen coach and just one of the best dudes I've ever been around. And I think he really took pride in what we were doing down there. Obviously whatever plan we had going into a game, it was going to get executed. And I think a big part of that was just the confidence from Bard and what he was able to get out of us, and just keeping us ready for every situation. And the communication was great at all times. So I think I don't think there was ever an instance where anybody was caught off guard or kind of put into a spot where it would be difficult. So I think a lot of credit goes to him as well.
Yeah, it's great to see Bard get his recognition. Danny Lehman, I mean, Connor McGinnis, guys down the line, such a collective group of really just experts. And just going to ask you when it comes,
guys.
Yeah, every department kind of funneling into these wins. And you got Josh Bard, right? You're pitching at the minor league level. What's kind of the first thing you see from someone specifically like a Josh Bard? They're like, oh, wow, I'm in the show. I'm getting that extra level of coaching or direction. What's like something specifically where they'll go out to you and help you have that success?
Yeah, I think for me, it was always, I'd get a little bit anxious about, I always would have a little bit of like preparation anxiety in terms of like, I know that once I get out on the field, I'm going to feel good, but I'm worried about everything leading up to it in terms of feeling good. And I think he helped me just understand that, hey, I'm going to be ready. Like, I work really hard. I take pride in the work I do. All of us are really just in tune with our bodies and how we're feeling and everything. And I think he did a great job helping me understand that towards the end of the season, that, hey, like, I'm going to be ready in whatever situation. And that was different for me, obviously, being a starter where, I've got 4 or 5 days in between to pretty much work up to feeling the best I possibly can. And then being in the bullpen where you're going to deal with nagging stuff. You're going to deal with, just different situations and different circumstances. And I think his words of wisdom and just kind of being with me, like, and understanding that it was new for me was really important, just to, like, one, be confident, because that's the biggest and most important thing. And sometimes when you don't feel prepared, the confidence kind of goes out the window. But I think just being around him and being able to communicate and be open with him about how I was feeling about things and just like what was kind of going through my head, that was, those are some of the best conversations I've ever had in my career. So
Josh Bard's definitely Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer out there, getting you guys ready, getting you guys prepared. And that's what I get the sense of in this organization is reason why these managers, these coaches are so elite is they can talk to a rookie, they can talk to a vet, they can talk to an all-star and a role player and communicate that message. And it's all about winning baseball games. I think that is what's so special about this group. Now, I got to ask you though, you're in the bullpen, you're seeing Walker Buehler roll over there. What's the first thought that pops into your head?
The first thought that popped into my head was, this is Walker Buehler. Here we go. You know what I mean? Like, just everything that he went through this year. I got to see him throw a lot in Oklahoma City, and just, you're coming off of 2 Tommy John surgeries. He hasn't thrown a ball in over 2 years. I can't put myself in his shoes because I haven't dealt with it, but just seeing him kind of claw his way back into finding his mix and his confidence, and then obviously doing it on the biggest stage in the world. There's nobody else I would want the ball in their hands than him. And I think everybody feels that way. I think he's got that swag late in the year. He's got the I'm going to get you out mindset. Nothing's getting in the way between me and you. And he loved it. And that's just kind of who he is as a person. I think he rises up to those occasions. And I mean, he did it for, a month straight, and he was our guy.
And you kind of know right away, okay, yeah, he's wearing the jacket. He's kind of tossing around the baseball there. You see Blake Treinen already out there in the 6th inning because you didn't get a lot of length from the starter that night. Do you kind of just assume he's there to throw, or do you kind of like, everyone's like, what's up, Walker? I mean, what's kind of the mood as far as what's about to happen?
Yeah, I think it was kind of all hands on deck at that point. So I didn't know if necessarily he was coming down to go in the game or be down there for like extreme emergency, but I think he had all of the intentions like, hey, I'm going to pitch in this game tonight, immediately when he got down there.
Yeah, and just when he's in the game, it's game over, right? He's getting those final 3, right?
It was game over. It was game over, especially watching, like we were watching his pen and everything, and he's feeling good. Everything's coming out really good. And then you throw on, Game 5 adrenaline in the World Series. Things are gonna go well, and with that mindset and what the place he's able to get to mentally, there was no chance of them doing anything that inning.
Yeah, and then he throws up the "Are you not entertained?" celebration after he strikes out Verdugo. You guys got the dog pile like you want to see celebrating the World Series. Just kind of take us through how exhilarating that moment is. Where does that rank as far as moments in your baseball career? Just the moment when you actually get that final out and you win the World Series. Yeah. You're in the clubhouse, champagne, beer everywhere. Just where does that rank in your baseball career?
Yeah, I mean, it's by far the best. I mean, those, I would say, 2.5 to 3.5 hours from the final out of that game until we got on the plane was probably the best few hours of my life. I mean, celebrating with my family, with the guys. Like I remember last out was made. I think I was squatting down, holding on to a chair, and I'm pretty sure the last out was made. I jumped and gave Landon Knack a hug. We're all screaming and yelling and everything. I don't even really know if we knew what to do. And then all of a sudden, everybody's sprinting out onto the field, and I run right up and jump into Kopech's arms. And I was like, if there was anybody that was going to catch me, it'd be that guy. He's a big dude. And it was just so special. It was so just raw. And like we're all, professional athletes and competitors, and to get raw emotion like that and just pure joy is something that's really special. And like that's never going to be able to be taken away from any single one of us. And just to do it collectively was just so special. And like after all the injuries this year and like kind of what we went into the playoffs with in terms of pitching, it's just we defied a lot of things that, traditionally don't work.
Yeah, and this stuff you dream of, right? From Little League to high school, travel ball, UConn, UNC. And question I have, though, is that's always the dream, but did it exceed the feeling of it, right? Did it exceed what you thought it would feel like to win the World Series when you actually did it and in the fashion you did?
Yeah, I think it did, especially being in New York. There was so much hype around this series. I think it was what everybody wanted, and it was just, 2 heavyweights going at it. And just to really finally be able to, that feeling of like, okay, like the job's finished, we did this, and to experience that with a group of guys who were so locked in for as long as we were, it was just the best. Like it was just the most pure moments. And that's when you can finally just, sit back, kick your feet up and be like, hey, we did this thing. This is super special. And it bonds a great group of guys forever.
We did it. Yeah. And how would you kind of describe that bond? Because I think that's something that is very evident about this team is it's not, the superstars are over here, the role players are over here, whatever you want to say. It seems like anyone can communicate with anyone. And then there's just, okay, it's a 1 through 26 mentality. We're just a big family here.
Yeah, no doubt. I think in terms of our situation as a team and where we are at in general, I think the overall vibe and the chemistry and camaraderie of the team, that's kind of what kept us together. I even the San Diego game 4 where we're down 2-1 at that point, I honestly never thought for a second we were going to lose that game or lose that series. And I think that's because of the professionals we have in the clubhouse and I never for a second after the first game of the NLDS, I didn't think there was ever a chance we were gonna not win the World Series, honestly. And I think that's just because of how well we stayed together. And we were I don't want to say we were playing our best baseball at the time, but we were playing baseball where we were going to compete and guys were going to go in there and get their job and get the job done.
Yeah, that's what set the tone. The bullpen game there and the elimination game in game 4, you staved off the elimination, the clincher in game 6 of the NLCS. The Padres, I wish we had that same confidence that you had, because we were all terrified that the season we were going to lose the Padres the second time in 3 years. We did not want that. Dave Roberts did say that he felt like the Padres were the best team. Would you agree with that you guys faced during this run?
Yeah, I think top to bottom they were the best team we played for sure. And I think too, they had a really, really good bullpen. They weren't really as injury stricken, obviously, as we were, as the Yankees bullpen was. And I truly think that series was, in terms of getting us ready for the CS and the World Series. I don't really necessarily know if there was more energy than there was in that series. And I think that really propelled us into, hey, we just got past this team. There was a lot of hype and, division rivals. They took the lead on us. I thought after that series, and I had mentioned this before, but like there was no way we were going to lose. There was just absolutely no way.
Yeah, and to look at that as a short series too, with that kind of talent where you don't take advantage of the depth that you have, it's all of a sudden you're down 2-1 and anything can happen. And then you go to the parade. I mean, first I want to ask you about the parade was, of course, you know how big the Dodgers fan base is. You know that this is an international franchise with as much history really as any franchise in professional sports. But did you have any idea about the relationship that the team that you play for has with this city and the kind of impact they have on the community like that?
I knew the fan base was incredible just from the games I had played in. When you get 50,000 people, I think the average attendance was around like 53 or 54,000, which was by far the most
best in baseball.
That kind of says something in itself. But the parade, I mean, it felt like a holiday. It felt like a national holiday. I mean, it was never ending. It was the energy, the pure happiness, and then obviously it being right after Fernando's, he passed away and everything. It was just it brought a lot of people together. And I think for me, at least, the best part of it was, watching guys like Kirsch and Putty and a lot of these older guys who, didn't get to celebrate in 2020, or it was their first or second ring or whatever it was, and just to see the pure joy from guys like Clayton Kershaw, and everything that those guys have done in their career, to feel the way they did at the parade and how special it was to them is really cool, because they've kind of checked every box in their career and done everything that they wanted to up to this point. So to see veteran guys eat it up like that, and to get to experience that was probably the best part for me, because it just made the moment so much more special.
Yeah, I loved Kirsch's speech. It sounded like a WWE wrestler at the Dodgers for life. But I was going to ask you, was there a memory that really stood out from the entire parade?
I think the biggest memory from the parade probably was when we got off the highway and we started getting towards like into town a little bit. Just the amount of people and the energy, and just in general, like putting myself in like trying to like see myself out of my own shoes and just being like, wow, like these people are here for this team. Like I'm part of that team. This is so like, I've, not me personally, but like we have brought so much joy to the city, and just to see everybody backing us is just, it's so incredible. And I'll never forget it.
Yeah, no, that joy is still going on today. I mean, it wasn't just not a one-day holiday. We're living this up for a while. It's not ending anytime soon. I thought Kike's speech, he brought the house down, as you know. Yeah. What is he like as a teammate, and how important is that to have that guy in the clubhouse when there's just so much pressure surrounding this team? Yeah, I mean, Kike that's him 24/7. It's not a facade. It's not like, hey, I'm going to, be this way in front of the camera. Like that is who he is at every second of the day. And that was
one of the most important pieces, I think, for at least for me and for the team. Like, I got to see his energy, how he comes in and prepares every single day, keeping it light. But when it's game time, it's game time. And the switch he has is unbelievable. You know, it's this energy where it's contagious, and you know, he's one of the best teammates I've ever had, and I honestly didn't even get to spend a whole lot of time with him. I think I spent a total of 2 months with him. So he left a very good mark in my book, and you know, I'll always remember the time that, you know, we had together, and him having my back as a rookie, and you know, he just loved that role, and I've never seen anybody kind of have that kind of character in a better way than him.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find out what he said the second time when he was asking all guys like, "Oh, should I say it? Should I say it?" What did he say there?
I'm not going to say it.
Okay, maybe. Okay, I thought I tried to throw it out there, but no, an incredible day, Ben, and yeah, I think lastly too is this offseason, man. Like, what are you doing? I mean, like, what's the plan for this offseason? Are you even thinking about baseball yet? I mean, I know you're back in Connecticut enjoying life, but what's the offseason have in store for Ben Casparius?
Well, I told myself I was going to give myself a week, and I went to the gym yesterday, so that didn't follow as planned. But no, I think for me, it's just, you know, getting with our guys and figuring out like, hey, what's the next plan of attack? We kind of talked about it on the last show, like developing a changeup a little bit more, something that turns right away to lefties or into righties, and just kind of playing around with my arsenal and see kind of like just go through the numbers, like what's working for me, where can we get better, kind of, you know, are we gonna play around with a couple different type of fastball shapes, whatever it is. I just think going forward, it's going to be just keep myself ready physically, give my arm a little bit of a break, but kind of just dive into the numbers and see where we can maximize some stuff.
Have you thought at all what you're going to do with that championship ring when you get it?
No, I probably lock it up somewhere, to be honest with you, but it'll be special. It's going to be a fun day.
I wish more players just wore it regularly. You know what I mean? Just walk into the stadium. I mean, you let me borrow it for a week, like the Stanley Cup, maybe I get my time with it. I don't know. It's all good. But Ben, we thank you so much. The insight, just unbelievable insight into the Dodgers World Series championship run. Also, congratulations, not only making your debut in the regular season, but your World Series debut. You are and will forever be a Dodgers World Series champion. We thank you so much for joining us here on Dodgers Dugout, my man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, D-Mac. Appreciate you.
Anytime, man. We'll catch up with you later this offseason, man. Enjoy the offseason. Get some rest, man, but enjoy this World Series.
Thank you. Take it easy.
You got it, Ben. That's Ben Casparius. This guy's got a bright future. Bright future, nasty. This guy's nasty, and there's a reason why they gave him the ball in the World Series, right? You would only do that if you knew you were confident in him, if you knew he could get the job done. So he's got a bright future, and this Dodgers organization, this is what they do. They develop pitchers. They develop young players. They go out there and they find talent from so many different ways. And I think Casparius truly is one of those next guys, because you see he has the stuff that can play up in these series against these teams, against these lineups. And look, sometimes you have pitchers that have stuff that kind of play up in the regular season, get the job done. But when it comes to those high pressure moments on the biggest stage, you got to go out there and bring the nastiest stuff. And that's what plays up in the postseason. Casparius certainly has that in spades. So really excited about his future. But welcome to Dodgers Dugout Live, guys. We are back in the studio celebrating the 1 week anniversary of the Dodgers championship, the World Series championship. It is 1 week, right? Something like that. It's pretty close. 1-ish week, something like that. But it feels like we're going to celebrate the entire month. But we got our boy Tony Taters representing. Tony, what do you think about Ben Casparius, man? Great dude, right?
World Series champion, Ben.
That's all you got to say, right?
Show, can't complain. He's a really cool guy. Glad he's on board. Hope we can get Landon Knack next time.
And everyone's saying that about the Padres, man. Everyone's saying that about that the Padres truly were.
I know Noel was saying that.
Yeah, Noel. Yeah, no, for sure. What do you think about our boy Ben Casparius?
He's a great dude, man. Super well spoken. Always excited to come on with us. We really appreciate him. We had him on before the postseason, and like you said, all of a sudden he was thrown into the mix. I mean, when we had him and Landon, you asked them both, like, there's a chance you guys are going to be put on that mound in big situations. Like, how are you guys feeling?
We should have brought that up because we were like, I mean, you and I like to, gas dudes up, right? Give them a lot of confidence. But like, we did say, hey, man, if something happens, you can have a role for the team in the postseason. And even me, I did not expect that to happen. But give him all the credit for staying ready when he was put in that situation.
And even when you asked him, he was super poised. He said that it's like you said, it's something he's been dreaming about since he was a kid. So if his number was called, like, he would be ready. I also thought it was super cool. He said he watched Walker throw a lot when he was in OKC. And you just got to see his process throughout the year. One of the more inspiring stories that we've seen in the past recent years with Dodgers pitchers. So, yeah, man, shout out Ben, World Series champion.
World Series champion. Shout out to Ben, man. A lot of people out there still trashing the Padres. Got people talking election stuff still, just kind of crazy. But no one should be shocked today, man. For anyone paying attention, something we could all predicted weeks ago. The Padres were always going to choke against the Dodgers in the playoffs, if you know what I mean. But no, look, absolutely good times, man. We always got to celebrate here. And it's really cool to see these guys kind of marvel at their teammates and learn from their teammates. And I think that's kind of an underrated part of what the Dodgers are building is they realize that you can't go out there and sign 1 through 26 to mega deals. You can't trade 1 through 26 through mega guys. You have to be able to draft, scout, develop. You need your homegrown talent to be able to sustain a run. And look, guys like Ben Casparius, man, I'm telling you, he's a dog. He's a certified dog, man. But yep, guys, let me know down below in the comments section. Got to run the Dodgers Nation poll question of the show. We got some ad reads coming up. I asked you guys over on the X. Look, we're never satisfied, right? We definitely want to make some more signings. And asked you guys which free agent pitcher do you want to see the Dodgers sign this offseason? 17% say Blake Snell. 43% say Max Fried. Maybe because he's already hanging out with the team. 21% say Corbin Burns, and 19% say Jack Flaherty. I kind of had to throw Jack Flaherty kind of in there too. Look, 19%, that's still pretty strong. So it's Fried, Burns, Flaherty, and Snell at the end. So not Blake Snell. Usually the first guy in the poll does better, right? I made him first, and he still is the least.
That's
maybe
crazy.
It's people, it's kind of if you're a Padre and a Giant, they kind of think of him as that.
Yeah.
Also, Austin Barnes stole his soul there in the 2020 World Series. Maybe there's that. But that comes as a surprise to me because there is a rumor that the Dodgers are interested in Blake Snell. We're going to get into that in just a second here. But we've got an ad to read. So let's talk about that right now, guys. So give me 1 second here. I got Noel at the top because I text him all the time, I guess. And just a reminder that today's episode is brought to you by Dodgers Nation official merchandise store, gearup.la. Guys, go to gearup.la. The best Dodgers gear in the game, the freshest t-shirts, the best merch. This is our latest design to celebrate the 2024 World Series Championship for your Los Angeles Dodgers. Got the Mookie Game Over tee, got the 8-bit classic Game Boys. Kids probably don't even know what that even is at this point. But to celebrate the Dodgers win the 2024 World Series, make sure to buy 3 of our new shirts. We have our Nations of Champs design that showcases the title, our We Don't Give a F design thanks to Kike Hernandez, and our Game Over design to pay homage to the 3-time champion Mookie Betts. We only celebrate 2 of those 3, so because one of those came against the Dodgers. But
the man is a legend.
The man is definitely going to the Hall of Fame. Hit the link in our bio to purchase all these shirts now. Let's go Dodgers. So absolutely. So we got a super chat freedom 2 huge wins, guys. Let's go. Oh, come on now. Let's Alex Renteria. We got Alex Renteria. November 1st will forever be National Dodger Day. I like that. Alex Renteria, Ben, Knack, and Honeywell save the arms for Game 5. Absolutely. And that's part of the process of being a dog and doing what you need to do to help this team win. And Ben Casparius is a part of that group, and he forever will be. Thenis O, Ben has a very bright future. Absolutely. BC 2020's decade of dominant dynasty. Christian Lopez, Big Ben. Ez Cone, WTC, thank you, Casparius. So what? Been a fan since 08, almost 20 years. I was 11, happy Kershaw getting his rings after everything. It's a little fire take. Give you a comment to the show for that one. The infamous El Guapo. Legend has it, Stanton still running towards home plate. Okay, I love that. I'm going to give you a bruh. It takes 5 business days. That'll be this year's, after every show we were talking about Lance Lynn giving the home run. That'll be that one. Then also you could add Garrett Cole's still waiting to get to first base too. But Ivan Sandoval, Sasaki Fried, Teo, get a deal with Tommy Tanks. Why is everyone talking about getting a deal with Tommy Tanks? He's under contract for one more year. They don't need to extend him this offseason. If they wanted to, they could. I'm not saying it's a bad idea necessarily, but there's some more things you need to do before you get down to that. Buehler for the right price. Flaherty would be cool too. Ricky _ZR3. Dave Roberts, the GOAT. Wow, how things have changed in 2 weeks. That might be the very first Dave Roberts is the GOAT. Dave Roberts is the GOAT chats I've ever seen, like in the history of like the internet. Ray Barrios, Snell for 3 years, $100 million, or Burns for 6 years, $180. Snell's projected deals seem more practical, and he's a lefty, but either guy would be great. Okay, we're going to dive into that, but first, let's talk some Shohei Ohtani. So, Shohei Ohtani, turns out, was a little more injured than we were led to believe. Shohei Ohtani yesterday underwent successful arthroscopic surgery that was performed in LA by Dr. Neil Elitrach. Dr. Neil Elitrach is earning his paycheck, man. It's the Jimmy Butler meme from the NBA Finals where he's all tired and stuff, you know?
Yankees, I mean, not the Yankees, he's the Popeyes worker meme.
The Popeyes worker meme, there's that one. I mean, he's out here working day and night. And look, that's one of the benefits of being on the Dodgers. You have surgery, it's with the best in the game. But it was there to repair a labrum tear that resulted from a left shoulder dislocation that took place on October 26 in the World Series. The world was really in shock. Everyone was worried, oh, what's wrong with Shohei Ohtani? Happened in game 2, is late in the game. Dodgers trailing 4-1. There was 2 outs. Why is he stealing? He's not even going to steal the base. And we were told originally it was a subluxation. There was a subluxation. Well, it turns out a little more serious than that. And it did reveal a tear. And he ends up going on the plane. He ends up playing in game 3. But after the injury, he was able to just get 1 hit. So just 1 hit in 12 plate appearances after the injury. So he was up there taking walks. He was up there trying to get on base any way he could. Unfortunately, didn't have a lot of success. I mean, really, I think Shohei was a decoy. I mean, I'll give myself a bruh for that. But, I mean, he really wasn't out there giving you the slug, giving you Shohei Ohtani moments, and we know now. So there's not an excuse, really. I mean, for the most part, didn't have a great postseason. I will say the Dodgers do not beat the Padres if it weren't for that 3-run home run against Dylan Cease in game 1. I mean, come on, Dodgers come back down 3-0 early in the postseason. That 3-0 lead that 3-0 deficit felt like a 10-0 deficit, a 30-0 deficit at that point. But I digress on trying to defend Shohei's postseason run. Most important thing right now is that he gets as healthy as possible. And I see people that are a little concerned about this injury. And look, anytime a player has surgery, especially on the shoulder, it's concerning. But let's remember, it's his front shoulder, and he is a left-handed hitter. So that's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. It was on the left shoulder, and that's his back shoulder. And guys like Cody Bellinger, guys like Adrian Gonzalez, it was the front shoulder. And that's what really saps you of your power at the plate. And it takes longer through the rehab process to get the feel for your swing back, to get the juice back in and get the pop back in. Well, thankfully, it wasn't the front shoulder, because if it was, this could be a bigger issue and there would be a bigger concern heading into next season. So we're looking at around 12 weeks until you can get back to baseball activities. If you look at the calendar, can't believe we're already looking at the calendar and days till opening day, spring training, but that throws him into February. So you're around February, the first week of February, where you could see him getting back into baseball activities. And also, another question is, what does this mean for his Tommy John rehab, for his arm surgery rehab? Because typically you're in a sling for the first 4 to 6 weeks. After the 6 weeks, then you start getting into the range of motion, and then you're trying to pick up a baseball, do a little resistance, and kind of fling things around. And then after the 12-week mark, then you're really getting back into it. So what does this mean for the pitching? What does this mean for him at the beginning of the season? Guess what? You just won the World Series. You don't really care that much, okay? You're still going to be celebrating this World Series title. And the truth of the matter is Shohei Ohtani is going to spend every single minute of this offseason the right way and trying to put himself in a position to play. Because let's not forget, they're going to Tokyo. He has to play. Okay. I don't care if he has to be the decoy again. Bruh. Give myself another bruh. I don't care if he has to be the decoy again in that one. He has got to play in that game. And preferably he's pitching. He's on the mound for that historic series in Tokyo. But I'm not overly concerned about it. I would say 1 to 10, it's probably like a -1. I'm really not concerned about it. It's Shohei Ohtani. This guy's not from this planet. But let me know down below in the comment section, are you concerned at all with Shohei Ohtani and anything to do with this injury? Do you think it's something that could bleed in next season? Me personally, it's not. I mean, Tony Taters, you ever had a bunch of injuries? Any shoulder injuries that sapped your swing?
No shoulder injuries for me. Definitely a lot of leg injuries for sure in my arm, but no shoulder. But I have faith in Ohtani. He'll be good, especially for Japan, like you said.
He's got he's got to be back for Japan. I mean, come on, that's has to happen. We got the boxing tour. I can't wait to see Ohtani pitch, man. I know that's a great thing to look forward to. Now, speaking of pitching, switching gears, bro. How much time we got? 45 minutes. Let's talk about Blake Snell really quick. So Blake Snell and the Dodgers have been linked together for a couple years now. And before Blake Snell signed with the Giants prior to last season, the Dodgers were in the mix with Blake Snell. I remember talking to Andrew Friedman in Seoul, South Korea, and it was after they made signings. It was after you got Yamamoto and Ohtani and Teoscar and Glasnow, and he said they weren't done. There was not a lot of players out there that were available. It was pretty clear that Blake Snell was the guy that they were involved with. And that's been reported. It's what I've heard. So they have had interest in Blake Snell. And what we know about this Dodgers team, look at Tommy Edman. They were interested in him for years, find a way to get him. They love him. Mookie Betts, interested in him for years. They get him to their organization, right? They have their guys that if they had the opportunity to sign or trade for, that they would pursue. And Blake Snell is certainly one of those guys. And Snell is an interesting name because when he's on and he's at his best, he can shove with the best of them. I mean, we're talking about multiple games in the postseason where he's gone out there and he's been dealing, and you're a guy that can go out there and give you double-digit strikeouts. And I think when you're this Dodgers team and you are going to try to load up on as much starting pitching as you can find, because you saw what you went through this season, right? Where it was Squid Game, right? You lose guys every week, every month. You're down to 3 starters in the World Series. That there's no such thing as too much starting pitching. There's no such thing as, okay, we're done. No, you can take advantage of your roster right now and realize that, hey, you have Glasnow. You hope he's going to be fine next season, but are you going to bet on that? I think that's a risky bet. Yamamoto, you saw how he performed in the postseason when he was right. Very encouraging. He missed almost 3 months with an injury. So those are your 2 frontline starters. Those are your 2 top dogs that both dealt with significant injuries. So I think it's very clear at this point that the Dodgers need, it's not a want, it's not a luxury at this point. They need to go out there and get one of the top 4 starting pitchers that are available, whether it be a Blake Snell, a Max Fried, a Nathan Eovaldi, a Corbin Burns. I think you need to get one of those guys. I know it sounds crazy. They're champagne problems, right? If you're a Rays fan watching this, you're vomiting right now at the fact that a Dodgers guy is saying they need Blake Snell. Did they need another starter? The thought of doing the bullpen thing again, do you really want to live through that? Okay? Where the bullpen is covering 60+% of your outs. You do not want to do that. The chances of executing again those situations with every single move you're going to make are unlikely. And what Blake Snell brings is he brings top-end stuff that plays up in the postseason, and what you will have is depth in the regular season, right? Shohei's back in the starting rotation. He profiles as an ace. Do they get Roki Sasaki, where they're currently the favorite if he gets posted by the Chiba Lotte Marines? I think about Roki Sasaki like every 5 minutes. So do they get Sasaki? You still have talent. Does Walker Buehler come back on a favorable team-friendly contract, a 2-year deal with a lot of incentives where he could earn money and then opt out after 1 year and then go back into the market? Does he come back? Does Bobby Miller realize his potential next season? What did they get from Landon Knack? So Tony Gonsolin, Dustin May. I mean, there are tons of depth options, but you and I both know that the starting rotation looks extremely different in March than it does in October. And Blake Snell is someone who you don't need to throw 200 plus innings and make 30 starts in the regular season, right? Kersh is back. I mean, there's tons of guys that are going to be able to fill out innings in the regular season to when, hey, let's have a good problem to have where if everyone stays healthy, that's awesome. Chances of that, though, in Major League Baseball in 2024, that's just unlikely. And the criticism with Blake Snell has always been, can he put together back-to-back seasons? Can he be consistent every single start? Yeah. I mean, he only has a couple of seasons where he's thrown 180 plus innings. And there have been years where he's won a Cy Young, and then outside of that, he's not even getting votes, right? But I do think that if you were to get Blake Snell, he would be cheaper than Corbin Burns because of his age. His upside in the postseason is higher than Max Fried's, better than Nathan Eovaldi at this stage of his career, better than Jack Flaherty at this stage of his career. If I had to pick between Corbin Burns and Blake Snell, that's a tough call because I really love Corbin Burns, but he'd be more expensive. But Snellzilla could be an absolute dog, an absolute beast for this team in the postseason. We saw it with our own eyes. That's what this team does. When you beat the Dodgers in the postseason, they never forget that. The Dodgers saw how dominant he can be in the postseason, and it would be wise for them to add him at the right price. It makes a lot of sense. There's smoke there. I had to give that, I'll give that 2.5 Dodger dogs, somewhere in between people are talking and some serious smoke. But let me know down below in the comment section, do you want to see Blake Snell on the Dodgers? Because I look at the contract, look what Carlos Rodon signed for a couple years ago. 6 years, $162 million. Blake Snell is light years better than Carlos Rodon, especially in the postseason. And Blake Snell is a little older, but I do think that you could offer fewer guaranteed years. And I think that fits into the mold of what the Dodgers like to do. I think if Blake Snell performed like he did when he was 28, 29 last year, and he entered the market with a robust market, with the league in better place, with the TV networks and the regional sports networks kind of figured out better, the Dodgers wouldn't really be as involved. But I think that there is a deal to be made potentially if they want to add another elite starter. And Blake Snell's nasty, man. I mean, he's got that no hit stuff. How about you, Tony Taters? Would you want to see Blake Snell in Dodger blue?
I'd rather see Max Fried, TBH.
Really?
Yeah. Even Corbin Burns, even though.
Why would you rather see Max Fried? Because of the hometown thing?
The hometown thing, just that lefty in the rotation. You know, you can learn from Kersh a little bit there, but let's see what you think, D-Mac.
No, I mean, it's a worthwhile debate. I mean, Max Fried, when he's at his best, we saw what he looked like in the postseason a couple years ago. Really, really good pitcher, very talented. He's a little younger. But Blake Snell he's just nastier, if we're just being completely honest, as far as when he's on his game, when he's right. I mean, Blake Snell is a 2-time Cy Young Award winner, right? I mean, Blake Snell, even this year, after he got off to a really slow start in his first couple starts, I mean, his strikeouts per 9 was at 12.5. I mean, give me Blake Snell. The Max Fried story is great, and I've tried to kind of paint that picture for years now. Harvard Westlake, saw him at CT3's thing, saw him at the club. I wasn't there. That was in my video. I saw a video of him at the club or whatever.
D-Mac at the club.
I was at the club. I wasn't at the club.
You were at the restaurant with the Dodgers.
I wasn't at the club. But I saw a video of him. I know Noel wants Max Fried because he thinks he dresses better.
Max Fried is pretty fresh, but bro, Blake Snell, like you said, he's cold, man. And I just think it would be so funny if he was on the Padres and then on the Giants, and he ends up with us. And I really wanted the Dodgers to sign him. I remember you texted me after you talked to Friedman. You were like, I think they're looking at Snell right now. I was like, if they pull it off right before the season,
that was a private text, bro. Jeez.
Hey, you're sharing with Cheryl?
Yeah, I was playing.
But yeah, no, I think Snell, like, he'd be great. Like you said, you can never have too much starting pitching, and you know, I think this bullpen is forever going to have the reputation that they're ready to step up whenever. But like you said, it would be really hard to replicate what you saw in 2024. I think it was a unique moment. We had the right matchups for the bullpen to take over like this in a very, very elevated role, but you need your guys. You need Glasnow back. You need Stone back. And I think if you get Blake Snell, this rotation will be in a really good spot.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I think it's fun for us. I mean, the Dodgers are the gift that just keeps on giving. I was afraid, I was telling you yesterday, like that they wouldn't do anything. And a couple days go by, Soto, Snell, Adames, Sasaki. I mean, it's we're basically in headline heaven here. Jeff knew Ohtani next year, 50, 20, 0, 50 home runs, 20 wins, 0 steals. Interesting. I like that. I respect any bold prediction here. By the way, I want to give a shout out to the artist Micah Johnson. He sent me one of these. These are really incredible. I mean, these are fire, little robot. Give me a little Daft Punk vibe here. I love these. These are awesome. I'll put the link for these down below in the info here, but these are fires. There's a Yankee one, but I guarantee the Dodgers one is selling better than the Yankee one. By the way, yeah, people talk about World Series merch. Anyone copy any World Series merch? Kind of want to know from you guys what's your favorite thing. I got to get the hat that they wore at the parade. Like I was saying, it's going for like $100, $200 on eBay with the World Series helmet in the middle, the champions. Oh, what are you copying, Noel?
Guy J.edits on Instagram. I buy a lot of graphic tees from him. He cooked a really like nice Ohtani, Mookie, Freddie, kind of like an MV3 type shit. Yeah, free sponsorship. That's my guy, Jay. Also my other guy, Pretty Boy Cisco on Instagram. He whips up some pretty nice shirts I bought from him. There was a jacket.
I'm more of an officially licensed guy.
I'm officially licensed.
No, I'm just playing.
I like, I'm an Instagram guy, so I support all my designers on Instagram. But I just like the general World Series shirt too, the general one that the guys were wearing right after they won. I always like buying those. I bought the 2021, so I had to buy the 2024 one as well. But those hats, we really gotta get it.
The hats are cool. I mean, the t-shirts. I mean, by the way, John. I mean, the hat is fresh. It's not a Yankees hat, but let's be honest.
The hat is definitely.
The hat is fresh. I mean, it just says champs. You can't even see the Dodgers logo from the front, kind of. So you could get one too.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Yeah, you got the gold.
Fan a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's your West Coast. That's your West Coast team, man. We've established that. So it's all love. It's all love. We're adopting John into Dodgers Nation officially.
Thank you
officially. But yeah, no, I think let me know down below. What do you guys copy? Because I see people buying dirt. You know what I mean? The pens with the dirt in them.
They were giving the dirt to the fans for free too. On the field.
I saw Bruzdar.
Yeah, Bruzdar.
I saw Bruzdar getting a fine from Major League Baseball. Probably for that.
Yeah, they're like, we can make money off of that.
Yeah, the LSU Jones. Yeah, we'll get some moves on that pretty soon. We got a couple of you down below in the comment section. A couple more on the way out. Guys, want to see our boy Friedman back. Well, Golf Grouch, was it a mistake signing Glasnow long term? It's the price of doing business. It's a worthwhile signing because the truth is when he was on the mound, he was elite. But you have to keep him healthy. And I think it's TBD. It's a magic 8-ball. Ask me later, right? Ask me later about Tyler Glasnow. We'll see. But look, I mean, you had the financial muscle to go out there and get a frontline starter. You did just that. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out in year one. Now, if he gets healthy, you have depth in your rotation. You don't need him to go every 5th or 6th day. And you could load management, so to speak. And I hate that word. I cringe every time I say it. But you have to find a way to get Glasnow healthy in the postseason. It doesn't matter what he does in March, April, May, June, July, August, September. October is why you signed Tyler Glasnow. So they have to find some way to make that happen. And big dude throws gas, puts a lot of pressure on his elbow with his extension to the plate. So what Glasnow told us was that this offseason, the plan is to refine that delivery a little bit so you can kind of change things up to take less pressure off that elbow. 199 super chat. They need to drop a cartoon team shirt. Dude, that's a comment of the show. Those get me every single time, especially the 1988 one. I mean, that's the shirt to get. I mean, the Lakers, Noah Cameras has the Lakers one. He's watched it 7,000 times, right? I think, right? It looks already like his looks like 2020 or it looks like 1988 vintage at that point with the way Noah Cameras has his. But those go super hard. I love those. I could not agree, especially we got all the players right there. That's 100%. You got Fanatics doing the Fanatics, by the way, unofficial sponsor of the show down here. They're the ones that I think make the World Series shirts. Yeah. Nike does the best job. That Nike Lakers one I thought was fire a couple years ago. So yeah, I got to get the hat, but let me know down below. I mean, what should I get? What World Series celebration stuff? I mean,
I'm telling you, Doug, sometimes the unlicensed stuff is the best.
No, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at the unlicensed stuff. I like the unlicensed stuff. You know, I just need like the real logos, and I need the trademark thing there. But that's gonna do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Do us a huge favor. Hit that like button too. Remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball.